Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Fitness. My name is Bradley Schreiber, and on this episode, I'm going to be talking about whether or not you need a program. So, do you need a program to see results, to move forward with my fitness goals? How important is it to actually have a program? So, before I get into that, I actually want to first off start by saying that thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you listening to this podcast, or whether you're watching it on YouTube or not. Thank you so much for your support. If you like the podcast, please give it a follow, whichever platform it is that you're listening to it on. If you want to see my funny face, you can watch the podcast on my YouTube channel. There is a video recording of it, and the YouTube channel is called 5 Minute Fitness, so it's the same as the podcast name. If you want to see what I'm getting up to on a daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram at Bradley_Schreiber. So without further ado, let's jump into the podcast. So first of all, I wanted to say that my answer is yes and no. So I'm gonna explain why I say no first, and then afterwards I'm gonna get into why I say yes. But the main reason I say no is because of that keyword need. You don't need a program to get results. You don't need a program to build muscle, to lose weight, to feel better about yourself. You don't need a program to be fitter and healthier. But in my opinion, a program is just instructions on what exercises to do and when you should do them. And you might say, but that's what I want. To that I say just hold on, because that doesn't give you the understanding of why you're doing what you're doing and why you're doing it when you're doing it. So a program, it will tell you exactly what to do and when to do it, but if you don't have the understanding of why, you're going to do silly things like move your exercises around, or you might skip one that you don't like. Or let's say, for example, you're doing legs and the first part of your exercise or your workout is quads, and then the second part is hamstrings and glutes. You might just say, well, I don't need to do the hamstrings and glutes, I'll just do it tomorrow or something. But that'll completely mess your workout program around, because a good program will have specific reasons for those exercises being on that specific day and in that specific order. So how long can you actually carry on? Like, if you're somebody who just buys a program and you follow the program, even if you follow it religiously to the point, you do it exactly the way that it says, how long can you carry on with that before somebody asks you, hey man, like I see or hey girl, whatever, how I see that you've made changes, I see that you've made real progress, can you help me out? What did you do? All of this stuff. And then what are you going to say? Are you just going to say, do these exercises and do this and do that? Because you don't actually understand why you were doing it or when you were doing it. But by the way, that's actually what most personal trainers online are. They're not really qualified. They don't actually have a proper understanding of what's happening, why you're doing it, and when you're supposed to do stuff. They just tell you, do this exercise if you want to build biceps, or do this, do that if you want legs, or if you want to lose weight, do this. But they don't actually give you the understanding of why. That's the important part. So the reason I say no is because I believe you should really focus on understanding exercise. You should learn. You should put in a lot of effort into learning yourself what types of exercises do what, why they're important, why is it important to rest, why is it important. I mean, there's millions of questions for exercise, and if you're just following a program, you're never going to learn. So this is why I say yes. So if you're somebody who needs something to make you accountable, so if you're like me and you need a system, you need a laid out system that tells you do this on this day, and this is when you do it, and this is how you do it. If you're somebody who's like that, then I recommend getting a program. It takes away all the uncertainty, all the guessing, but that's only if you make sure that you get the program from somebody who actually knows what they're doing. So don't buy a program from somebody who isn't qualified or doesn't explain to you why you're doing what you're doing when you're doing it. So if you just get the program and it's like, do this on this day and do this, yeah, but they don't explain to you why you're doing it, that is the key point. You need to understand why. And if a person isn't explaining to you why you need to do what they're telling you to do, it's probably because they don't actually know. So the main point is, if you can't afford to get a program, it's okay. You don't need one. There's plenty of free advice on YouTube, and there's plenty of free advice in podcasts like this one, and it'll give you everything that you need. That's where I've learned everything that I know. It's from free resources, but I make sure that it's from people who really do understand what they're doing. People who are qualified, people who have experience, people who have gotten results themselves and for their clients. So what I would say is, if you want a program, make the proper financial commitment. Get a good one. Obviously, as best as you can afford. But if you want to buy a program, like, the problem is, most people's problem isn't the plan or their strategy, it's their execution of it. So people think that, oh, I'm not getting results, or I'm not seeing any changes, and it must be because I don't have a good program, I don't have a proper plan. But it's more than likely because you're not executing it correctly. So you buy a program online and it tells you to do squats, but you haven't got a proper understanding of how to execute the squat correctly, or you haven't got a proper understanding of how to stretch, and it tells you, oh, stretch, do this, that, but you don't actually understand how or why. So I would say, if you're going to buy a program, make sure you get a program that teaches you why. Make sure you get it from somebody who understands why, but you don't need one. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.